Assalamu alaikum. 6 p.m. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Aisha Ghazi. First, the headlines. Foreign Office says international election observers have expressed satisfaction over peaceful conduct of general election in Pakistan. Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf and Balochistan National Party Bengal held talks in Islamabad to discuss matters pertaining to formation of government at centre. Prime Minister has urged the National Institute of Health to enhance inter-provincial coordination for prevention and treatment of diseases. In occupied Kashmir, Indian troops, in their fresh act of state terrorism, martyred another 2 youth in Kupwara district today. In Afghanistan, militants killed 3 foreigners in Kabul today. And now the news in detail. Foreign Office says Pakistan is witnessing a continued journey towards consolidation of democracy with the completion of 2 democratically elected tenures and transitioning the next. Foreign Office spokesperson Dr. Mohammad Faisal, addressing the weekly briefing in Islamabad today, said international election observers from Commonwealth and the European Union have expressed satisfaction on the conduct of elections. Turning to situation in occupied Kashmir, the Foreign Office spokesperson said the human rights situation in Indian-held Jammu and Kashmir reflects the unabated use of force, oppression, and mass killings by occupation forces and innocent and defenseless Kashmiris. He said Indian troops in unabated acts of state terrorism martyred 21 Kashmiris during the last month. Over 300 Kashmiris were also critically injured when Indian police and paramilitary personnel used brute force and fired pellet guns and tear gas shells on peaceful demonstrators during the same period. Foreign Office spokesperson said Afghanistan and Pakistan, in their meetings of the 5 working groups in Kabul, assessed prospects in all areas of mutual interest, including counter-terrorism and security, bilateral trade and transit, and Afghan refugees repatriation. Dr. Faisal said Pakistan Army rescued Russian climber Alexander Gukov, who was stranded at Latok 1 peak in Gilgit-Baltistan since July 24, 2018. The Russian government has conveyed deep gratitude to Pakistan for the rescue and lauded the professionalism of Pakistan Army for successfully carrying out this courageous operation. A delegation of PTI led by Naeemul Haq held a meeting with BNP Bengal Chief Sardar Akhtar Bengal at Balochistan House in Islamabad today. They discussed matters relating to government formation at centre. The delegation invited BNP to join the government at the centre. Akhtar Bengal is expected to meet Imran Khan later today. BNP Bengal has 3 seats in the National Assembly and 6 in Balochistan Assembly. PTI Information Secretary Fawad Chaudhry has said Imran Khan would take oath as next Prime Minister of Pakistan at a simple ceremony at Aiwan-e-Sadr. In a statement in Islamabad today, he said it would be purely a national ceremony and no foreign personality would be invited except a few personal friends of Imran Khan. Prime Minister Nasir al-Mulk has urged the National Institute of Health to enhance coordination with the provinces and for creating awareness amongst the masses on public health issues and diseases. He made the remarks during his visit to the NIH in Islamabad today, where he was briefed about the working and future plans of the National Institute of Health. The Prime Minister said NIH has a vast potential that needs to be further strengthened to serve as country's premier public health department with its own indigenous vaccine manufacturing. Appreciating the NIH initiative to draft country's first Public Health Act, he asked Ministry of Health to expedite the process. Supreme Court of Pakistan has disqualified former Minister of State for Interior Talal Chaudhry for 5 years in contempt of court case. announcing its reserved judgment. A three-member bench of the court, headed by Justice Gulzar Ahmed, also sentenced him till rising of the court. He also been fined 100,000 rupees. A three-member bench of the Supreme Court, headed by Chief Justice Saqib Nisar, heard the case regarding written-off bank loans of 54 billion rupees. In his remarks, the Chief Justice said the recovered amount would be used for construction of dams. He said banks have already waived off loans. Islamabad High Court today adjourned a hearing into miscellaneous petitions filed by former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, Mariam Nawaz, and retired Captain Muhammad Safdar against the Accountability Court verdict in Avonfield reference till Monday. A division bench comprising Justice Amir Farooq and Justice Miagul Hassan Aurangzeb is hearing the petitions. This is Radio Pakistan. Preparations across the country are underway to celebrate 71st Independence Day with traditional zeal. Special stalls have been set up across Pakistan selling badges, national flags, and other products relating to Independence Day. Streets, roads, and homes are being decorated with national flags, buntings, and lights. The renovation work at Mazar-e-Qaid has also been started. Meanwhile, to mark the day, educational, social, government, and non-government institutions have started preparation of programs to highlight the importance of the day and pay tribute to the leaders and martyrs of Pakistan movement whose leadership and sacrifices led the way to acquiring a separate homeland for the Muslims of subcontinent. In occupied Kashmir, Indian troops in their fresh act of state terrorism martyred two youth in Kupwara district today. The youth were martyred a violent cordon and search operation in Humriyal area of the district. Meanwhile, Indian police arrested Hurriyat leaders Hakim Abdul Rashid and Umar Adil Dar in Islamabad town. Protests will be held in the occupied territory tomorrow after Jummah prayers against the Indian government's plan to abrogate Article 35A of the Indian Constitution. Call for the protests have been given by the Grand Mufti's designate, Mufti Nasirul Islam. The Joint Resistance Leadership and trade bodies have called for a shutdown on Sunday and Monday to protest the assault on the article. In Afghanistan, 3 foreigners were killed by militants in Kabul today. A spokesman for Kabul's police chief said that they were working for an international food company and belonged to India, Malaysia, and Macedonia. China says it is fully prepared for the United States' threats to escalate the two countries' trade war and will have to fight back to defend its dignity and interests of its people. The Commerce Ministry, in a statement, said today that China believes in dialogue to resolve disputes, but equal treatment and keeping promises are prerequisites for dialogue. U.S. Trade Representative Robert has said that President Donald Trump directed a higher 25% tariff from a previously proposed 10% because China has refused to meet U.S. demands and imposed retaliatory tariffs. Russia will deploy military police on the Golan Heights frontier between Syria and Israel and set up 8 observation posts. A senior defense ministry official was quoted as saying by Interfax that the aim of preventing possible provocations against UN posts along the Bravo line, the deployment is planning of 8 observation posts of Russia's armed forces military police. U.S. President Donald Trump has said that he is looking forward to meeting Kim Jong Un soon and thanked the North Korean leader for sending the remains of U.S. soldiers killed in the 1950 to 1953. President Trump wrote in a Twitter message, pledged to transfer war remains was seen in the U.S. as a goodwill gesture by North Korean leader. The Roman Catholic Church has formally changed its teaching on death penalty, saying it is inadmissible in all circumstances. The 1.2 billion member Catholic Church has allowed the death penalty in extreme cases for centuries, but the position began to change under the late Pope John Paul II, who died in 2005. The Vatican said it had changed its Universal Catechism, a summary of church teaching, to reflect Pope Francis' total opposition to capital punishment. And finally, the weather. Mainly hot and humid weather is likely to prevail in most parts of the country during the next 24 hours. However, rain, thunder shower with gusty winds is expected at isolated places in Kashmir and adjoining hilly areas. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log in onto our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletin on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.